To those who don't have the skill that is needed, what would you suggest? Because, for example, there is one argument I usually make and that I've said a couple of times, that instead of investing a lot of money in things that are not really important, why don't we invest it in training people? For example, on the question of leadership, why don't we train people more about how to become leaders so that we can get the right people to do the right job?
I'm so glad you asked that question. Do you know in China right now, they actually allocate money to those that are talented and gifted in certain areas, and the government, if you prove your value and worth, the government will pay for you to go to school. But the turnaround for that is you have to work for the government in that area. I noticed that when I say about 25, 30 years old, I found this out. Do you know in the Olympics, they take children. They used to take the orphan children, and they used to train them in gymnastics to compete for the Olympics. Did you know that? They used to take orphans, those that people threw away, babies they didn't want, and they used to train them for the acrobatic piece, the gymnastic piece, any of the calisthenic pieces, the things that you do with your body. So weightlifting, all of that. They used to take orphans, and they used to say, look, you got to give us back. For all the stuff that we paid for you to live in these orphanages, you now have to give back to your country. And they used to take those orphans, and they used to tell them, you will be a gymnast. You will lift weights. You will play soccer. You will do such and such and such to better our country. And you know what those children said? Yes. Why? Because they gave them the value of their word. They said, look, your parents didn't want you. We took you in. We gave you thus and so. Now it's time for you to give back. And they gave them the value of that patriotism. And now we have people that wouldn't, I don't care how bad China is, they wouldn't leave to save their own life because they instilled the patriotism of solving a problem. China needed gymnasts, they needed soccer players, they needed basketball players. So where did they go? They go where their children are, so they can train them up from young to make sure that they have a team later on in life. We need to do that in Africa. We need to train up children that see where their potentials are, where they are the best in. We have children that are phenomenal in math. Why are they not our financial constituents? Why are they not the ones that are over our financial prospectus in government? Why are they not the ones that are doing the audits for the government that we already have? Why do we have to find out in a newspaper that somebody in Nigerian government spent $1 million US on an airplane that they didn't need? Why do we have to find that out there? Why can't we have people that are in the government that are auditing these expenses and now saying, no, you can't spend that. No, you can't do that. That's checks and balances. And then why can't we send those children to school to learn how to be better in that craft and then put them into government and say that this is the way you give back? This is smart thinking. This is smart calibration. We can take our orphan children who really don't have a stable lifestyle because their parents couldn't take care of them, because they sold them into the orphanage for money or whatever it is that they did. Why can't we use those children now and educate them free? And then in return, they give back service to the government. Why can't we do that? Why do we have to pay for school and everything we got to pay for? Why is that? Because we want to make money. So that means that we're not really interested in educating. We're interested in profiting. That's where we went wrong. If we are so concerned on solving the problem, we have to reduce our profit margin and realize the greatest ROI is our students, that we have to invest in them so that they can give back. That's free trade. That is the example of free trade. We invest in something that had no value and we gave it worth. And now we're going to turn it over and we're going to have that invest in us. Who loses? Who loses? And why is that we can't give value to the worth of those that we have coupled in society as being orphans? Why can't we do that? We have enough of them. I don't understand. There should be no such thing as a street child in any African country. No such thing, because that child should now be being cross-trained in agriculture, in horticulture, in any kind of demographic that you can think of that has a deficit. They should now be trained. They should be getting ready to go to medical school right now. And we should be paying for it, because those children deserve a benefit just like our children deserve. And why not train them? Why not cross-train them? Their parents couldn't do it, but that doesn't mean that they're not contributors to society. Why not give value to their work?
Well, that is how complex the system can be sometimes. That is why it is a little bit more difficult when it comes to the play of practicality of what we are discussing here, because sometimes it can really become very complex. And that is why the quality education need to continue to circulate, need to continue to go around, because of course, most of these tips, some people will see it and they just laugh, but it can work sometime, no? That it's just like throwing out the seed out there. Sometimes
Right.
it might fall on the hard rock, but not all of them will fall on the hard rock.
Correct.
So we fall on the fertile soil. So it is important that we continue to propagate the positive information, because even though it is a complex situation, in some way it can work. But as we're moving towards the end of it, looking at also the strategy of the kind of business that women can do, maybe looking at the women, the African women in the diaspora, I want to see, speaking from the point of view of business, what do you think that they can do together to sort of work together as a people? That is the question.
Okay, say that one more time. One more
So,
time, because
I mean, what kind of business do you think African women in the diaspora can do together?
oh, what we could do together. See, that was the point I didn't hear. Okay. Well, first of all, we need to acknowledge each other. I was born in the United States and I'm of Gambian blood. Those in Gambia need to honor that. They want to use the fact that I'm from the United States to find out what's happening in the US, but they don't want to recognize me as a US born Gambian. So we have to recognize each other. Instead of saying I'm African American, how about saying I'm African, period? You can't help where you're born, but you can help who you are. So why don't just call me African? Why don't we drop that? Oh, well, I want to pay homage to the land that I was born in. Okay, but I don't care if you move to Rome or Greece, you're still gonna be African. So why are you paying homage to a land that you just so happen to be born in? That's not your fault. That was nothing you can do about that. But what you can say is this person who just so happens to have been born in America is Gambian. Recognize that. See who you are. Wherever you go, there you are. So recognize it in that land. If I come to visit you in Rome, I'm still going to be Gambian. I'm still going to be Gambian. I'm still going to be African. I'm sorry. You can't take that out of me. It's not going to happen. I don't care if you transfuse my blood. It's still not going to take it out of me. It's still going to be a preface to who I am. So we need to recognize who we are. You are from your country. I am from my country, but both of us are African. And when you pinch our skin, it's still going to be African blood that comes out of it. So I use that emphatically in my dissertations to others. Recognize each other. You are my African brother, period. Not because you from, where are you from? Nigeria, right?
Yeah, from Nigeria, yeah.
Nigeria. Okay, so what? You're from Nigeria. You could have been from Cameroon. The point of it, it really didn't make a difference. You are still my African brother. Now, you Absolutely. Are in Rome, but I guarantee you tell people when they say where you're from, I'm from Nigeria, right? Because that's where you're from. Exactly. I just so happen to be in Rome. You're going to come here to the United States and I'm going to give you a tour of the UN and the African Union here. You're still going to be Nigerian. You see what I mean? So we have to recognize ourselves and we have to recognize who we are, where we are, for who we are. And the last thing is, as women, we need to stop competing and start complementing. It is so much of this European concept that makes us feel as though we need to compete. Nigerian versus Gambian versus from Ghana versus Rwandan versus South African. What? If you put us all in a room and if we closed our mouths and we just looked a certain way, no one would be able to tell where we're from. Nobody. Everybody says that I look like I'm Ethiopian because I have this long face. They say, oh, you may be from, maybe parts of you are from Sudan and Ethiopia. Okay. But when I open my mouth, they're like, ooh, where were you born? Like, you know, and they ask that question. And they always, because when I say Ameena Ali and they know I'm Muslim and they see the gele, they automatically just assume I'm from Africa. And I love that because I am. But when I open my mouth, they're like, ooh, wait a minute. You don't have an accent. Wait, where's your accent? I even had somebody ask me that. Where's your accent? That's your assumption. That's not my reality. So what I'm seeing in that is that there is a continuity of what they believe we are, which is African. And we need to hold that to be true. Yes, I am African. I'm very proud to say that. I don't filter that. I don't even try, even in my accent, I always try to I have a slow it down, because I know when I speak fast, some people don't understand it, because I'm around the culture so much that sometimes I have that. Sometimes that falls out of my mouth and you hear that. But I was born here. I'm still Gambian. So if we can get out of that culture of competing with each other, I'm not your enemy. And I say this to all the sisters that are out there. I'm not your enemy, sis. I am your African sister. I may be older than you. I may be younger than you, but I'm still your sister. I am your auntie. I am your family. And I want you to always understand that, because I'm talking to you right now. I am here for your greater good. Whatever I have is yours, and whatever I can give you, just ask for it. Because that's the way we need to be. And that is the best way to hold us together and to make us our own superheroes, because that's the only thing that we have to do, us women. Now, other folks have to do some more stuff, but if we can get together and see us for who we are and see us for what we are, which is our complement, then we will be a better community of women.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Dr. Ameena. It's really important, no, that we conclude with that part. But actually, the conclusion is going to be from you, in that we discussed something very important today, no, looking at how to connect ourselves among African diaspora. And for us as a project, African Docs Project, this connection is very, very important. We consider it as one of the most important things that we have to do, because we really need to connect our energy, because many other people are doing it and they are so. In fact, that is the only way they survive. No, if you want to go alone, you cannot survive it. And if we want to play according to the okay, because we speak different languages, and because we have seen that even in the area of business, your language doesn't become a barrier. You are able to overcome it. We live in many other respects. You are able to overcome it. But when it comes to building Africa together, then we begin to say, okay, where I'm from here, I'm this, I'm that. No, we must look for a way to overcome that. We must look for a way to overcome slavery. We must look for a way to overcome the responsibility of Africa in it. We must look for a way to overcome the corruption. We must look for a way to see that despite what has happened and what can happen, we are a people and we can overcome this. We can come together again and build together. So, be that as the main drive behind this argument, what would be your conclusion to sort of end this conversation?
In 1 minute or less, we have to get tired of being sick and tired. We have to be tired of being sick and tired, because I know I am. I'm tired of the corruption. I'm tired of everyone looking to me when something happens in another country in the African continent and they say, Ameena, what's going on with that? I don't know. Ask them. I didn't do it. But I'm tired of being represented as an African woman in the diaspora as the lead-in to their corruption. Why are you asking me about the corruption? Why don't you ask me about how we can rebuild that? Why don't you ask me how we are rebuilding that? Because that's the conversation that I want to have. I don't want to have to find out why such and such is stealing money. That's not my business. That's between him and his Lord, because that's who's going to rectify that. But what I want you to ask me is, what is it we can do as a solution? I want you to ask me that question and ask it often. And I think we being sick and tired of being sick and tired, once we keep asking ourselves what the solution is and what it is that we are really wanting, and just like my t-shirt, it says purpose over popularity. So it's what we're doing. And this is my motto for what it is that we do in the African continent. We have to have purpose more than popularity. And if we do, we will automatically be popular. But we have to get sick and tired of being sick and tired of this way we're doing it. We're accepting it because we don't believe that there's more to it, but we are more to it. So if we get sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's when change will happen, period. And I just believe that wholeheartedly. I believe that that is the attainability. And I believe that these children are going to get tired of hearing our parents talk about the corruption, and they're going to be the change that we've been waiting for. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That is really very powerful. We need to be tired of sick and tired and really do the right thing, because the right thing is what we want to do for our country, our continent, and also for our image. It is very, very important. And for that, I want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate the time and the sharing here. It is highly, highly appreciated. I thank also to the people that have watched us to the end of this podcast. This is what we do from time to time. We try to share positive information with you, and I'm sure you enjoy the information that Dr. Ameena have shared with us today. Continue to do the right thing wherever you are. It is our duty to do this, and it's going to be all right. So thanks to all of you, and we are going to come your way very soon. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.